Ladies and gentlemen, it's time! Brought to you by Ringside, the best in boxing. It's the Zapata Brand Boxing Podcast. Introducing first, fighting out of the Zapata Brand Studio in Berwick, Pennsylvania. He is an expert in boxing and bagels, George Zapata!
Hey guys, welcome to the Zapata Brand Boxing Podcast, brought to you by Ringside. Go to ringside.com/podcast, and you too can get upwards of 40% off selected brands. Well, my next guest is one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters, my man, Roy Jones Jr. Roy, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Roy, it's an absolute honor. And I know you don't have much time, so we're going to get right into it.
Thank you.
You're doing double duty this Thursday. Going to be the trainer of Mandeep Jangra, who's fighting for a world title, the NBA Junior Lightweight Championship, but you're also doing the commentating. How are you going to fit that in? I know you're no stranger doing double duty. You did a basketball game and then fought for Eric Lucas, but this is a little different. It's a little more stressful.
Well, it's a little bit more stressful on the brain, but not on the body. So if it's not stressful on the body, I should be able to handle myself in it.
Well, being as talented as you are, I think that'll be pretty easy. My question to you would be this. I have two questions, but first let me go with this one. Do you, when you're doing the commentating, you got people in your ear, the producers and what have you, but you're also now concentrating on a fight that you're trying to pick up little things. How do you compartmentalize that?
Well, the way you got to compartmentalize it is the fact that you got to figure out what both guys are doing, what both sides need to do to win, and what both sides are doing that's not causing the win if they're not winning. So when you do it, you don't look at it from your fighter, you look at it from the fight. When you come back, you have to analyze to your fighter what he's not doing right or what the other guy is doing right. So for me, when the round is going on, I have to deliver to the fans what both fighters are doing.
Right.
But when the round ends, I got to take that head off and go back and deliver to my fighter what he either is doing well or what he's not doing well. So it's all in one nutshell when it's happening. But when it comes to the corner, I got to take that other side out and focus more on my side.
Now, this is an important thing I want to ask you. Now, my son fights now. He just recently stopped because he is football's big here, Northeast PA. Friday Night Lights, football's big. Your father trained you. I trained my son. Now, almost similar to this, how do I, if I was training my son, this is almost similar to what you're doing now because you're doing something for the fans and something for your fighter. What do you think I could do as a father to separate those two, knowing fighter who doesn't get hurt and fighter who I know is my son?
Well, the way you separate the two is you start out by saying that when my son gets 18, he's a grown man. Most of it is his decision to make. If he chooses to box, I have to tell him that, look, son, if I ever see you in that predicament where I think you're about to get hurt, I'm going to tell you one time, but I'm not going to let you get hurt.
Okay.
If you have a problem with me after that, then it's probably best you go find somebody else because I'm on your side. I'm not here to harm you, but I'm not here to stop you from being great either. So I'm not going to stop something unless I feel like you're in danger. But you are my kid first. And the bad part about it is that even if you were my kid, if I'm your boxing trainer, I'm going to treat you like you're my kid. So even if it's a guy that is not my kid, if I see him about to be in harm's way, I'm probably gonna stop it.
What do you look for in a fighter when you're training for them? When you're training with them?
I look for a guy who's hungry, who doesn't care what's out there on the other side. He's just hungry. He wants to soak in anything that I can give him to help elevate him to a level that he can feel his hunger. They can feel that desire to eat.
I asked you that because of MJ, Mandeep Jongor, that's the main event that you're going to. Larry Bird had this problem as a head coach. He was so good as a shooter, so good. He didn't understand why they couldn't be as good as he was. You were arguably the greatest pound for pound fighter in history. Okay, middleweight, I put you at top 2.
Thank you, brother.
How do you portray that to someone when they can't get it? Because it would be frustrating to me, and I'm not even anywhere close to your level. But I mean, it's frustrating to me to say, how can you not do that? How do you use those kid gloves to get them to make it so that they can understand it? How does it come out for you in words when you're training?
For me, it's different because, first of all, I don't compare people to myself. I compare them to whatever God has given them. So when I reach to a guy like Mandeep Jangra, I'm looking for the hunger in him, but I'm also looking for his genetically given gifts. God blessed him with arm range. God blessed him with a very good mind. God blessed him with a body that can produce a little power, not the most, but he got a lot. He can produce better than what he's been doing. So my goal is to take what God gave him and try to maximize that. Not try to make him something that he's not. Maximize what God gave him. If you maximize what God gave him, then you're doing him a justice. If you try to go make him something he's not, you're doing him an injustice. You don't put a mule in the Kentucky Derby, he has no chance.
Oh, that's a good analogy. Yes, no, that wouldn't be a good thing to do.
But now, then again, what people don't fail to realize too, though, but then again, 2 mules is a good damn race.
Oh boy, you certainly know how to put words together.
Somebody just taught me that.
What's that?
Somebody just taught me that about 2 weeks ago.
And this is what I mean. The voice of Roy Jones, Max Kellerman, and Jim Lampley, which is what's missing in boxing right now. Roy, what would it take for you to get back behind that mic with Jim and Max and put together a show one last time?
It has to be a good situation for all of us. I think boxing has really missed us because we delivered something in boxing that nobody else could. We had a 3-headed horse that was undeniably the best in the business. You had a guy who knew it from everything from the book standpoint. You had a guy who knew everything from the business standpoint. And you had a guy that knew everything from the ring standpoint. So Max can tell you everything he's done in the book in his life before that book went. Jim can give you the questions that all the people want to know. Roy can tell the people everything that has to happen in that boxing ring. We were the best combination that I have ever seen, and not saying it's because I was part of it, but I've never seen a guy as knowledgeable as Max when it comes to knowing a guy, and I have never seen a guy as knowledgeable as Jim when it comes to knowing what the fans want to hear. So for me, it was the greatest team ever because anything that they would ask, I can answer because I was a master at what I did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I even go on a YouTube loop and go back to those HBO sports days and just listen to the commentating. Something that's deeply missing right now. Yeah. I don't think they have it. So let me ask you this. Go ahead, Roy.
Because they don't want to pay for it no more. They're trying to get everything about popular faces now. They put popular faces behind the microphone and let them say whatever just because people watch because of the popular faces. So they're not watching to hear the real truth of what's going on. They're watching because they listen to whatever the popular face is. The quality of what they're saying don't matter no more. And that's why boxing is falling so bad.
And it's funny you say that. You say they don't want to pay the money. I saw you at UFC Noche, a $23 million undertaking, something that I don't think will ever be done in boxing. Nope. But you were there. Did you go to the Canelo fight down the street?
No, I did not.
That alone speaks as what we're facing now in boxing. What did you see at UFC 306 that you saw that was unbelievable?
I saw out of about 7 fights I saw 5 underdogs win. That means that you saw a whole night full of 50-50 fights. If it wasn't 5, it was at least 4. One guy even came into my song, gave me an opportunity to rap my song at the biggest event ever.
I saw that.
And he pulled off an upset.
Right, I saw that.
So nobody that came to the fight, no matter what the records were. See, that's what the problem is with boxing. We focus so much on the records. They got us so focused on these O's and all this that if a guy loses a fight or two, we throw him in the pasture. Not in the UFC. In the UFC, they find somebody that you're compatible with. Like we just said, 2 mules make a great race. If they got a mule, they match with another mule. If they got a jackass, they match with another jackass. If they got a racehorse, they match with another racehorse. They don't go out and match racehorses and jackasses. They don't do that. You understand me?
Yeah,
So
I
it's
hear you.
not ever, so it's not ever so one-sided. It's always when you go to a UFC fight, you don't know who might win. Everybody got their thoughts, but we don't know who might win. None of us expected Sugar Sean to get upset the other night. None of us.
Right. And that's what I'm seeing. That's more of an indictment on Canelo, where he's fighting a guy who's not that experienced. They built him up pretty good because he had that they kind of put him into that picture. And Canelo gets away with a lot that probably he shouldn't. You, on the other hand, you accepted the challenge. And that was something that I thought was the great fighters always do. You accepted the challenge. You went all the way up to heavyweight, got the championship, came all the way back down, and you were in this undisputed 2 times there as a middleweight and a light heavyweight. Now, do you look at that as Canelo's legacy being diminished a little bit by not daring to be great as you guys did in your era?
I was undisputed 2 times at light heavyweight.
2 heavyweight.
Yeah, both of light heavyweight. Yeah. Canelo, I don't think he's really diminishing himself, but for a boxing person, unless you're fighting the best fighters, we don't really care to see it. Me, you understand me? I like him. I think he's a great fighter, but unless you're fighting the Benavidez or Terrence Crawford, these are the 2 guys I see that probably got a chance to really make it a good fight for you. Crawford really small, too small, but if you fight the wrong fight, it would be an interesting fight. And we also want to see what Crawford can do. Can he really go up there and upset you? We don't believe. We think he's too small, but if you go ahead and fight the wrong fight, he can. So, and we know that. Benavidez, we don't necessarily think Benavidez is a better fighter than you, but we know that you're going to buckle down to fight or to beat Benavidez. And what I fear is that maybe you don't want to buckle down like that no more. I don't know. So, and it's your prerogative. You do what you want, but I'm not going to get mad at you for not doing it. I'm just going to not watch because I know you're going to beat Edgar Berlanga. I know you was going to beat the guy before that. I knew you was going to beat the Canelo, the Charlo brother. You know, I know you're going to beat most of the people you fight, so I'm not eager to go knock down the door to watch those fights because I know the outcome. When it's a fight down the street that's got 7 fights that I don't know who's going to win either side. O'Malley, the girl, I don't know who's going to win either side. So it's like, I'd rather see the suspense because that's what makes boxing and fighting so good. The suspense of who's going to win rather than go somewhere where I expect everybody to win. And the only fight I really expected that had a chance to be upset on the Canelo undercard was I didn't know how well Lara would be able to take Danny's hook if he caught him, but Danny is smaller than him, so I kind of didn't think Danny was going to really bother, but I know Danny does have a thunder left hook, and I want to see, and I knew that Hurd dropped Lara in the 12th round, so I want to see if Danny's hook could have an effect on him, and it didn't, so that was the only thing I would have wanted to see. The rest of it, I already knew it was going to happen. I was shocked that Caleb Plant got dropped.
Yeah, I was going to say
and
that.
I was shocked that the little guy got dropped. But I expected both of them to win, and they both won.
Yeah, did you not think McCumbee had a shot there?
I didn't think McCumbee had a shot. I really didn't expect him to drop Caleb. But I knew he had a punch of chance, but I didn't think he was going to drop Caleb. But he did, you know. So
he had him in all types of trouble from probably 1 through 4. He was struggling.
That was saying a lot.
Two more things. One question and one comment. Roy, my question: what do you miss about boxing now, for you personally and you professionally?
Personally, I miss the fact that nobody cares about being the best anymore. You understand me? Nobody cares. It's like now we can sit on it and we don't have to fight the best fighters. We don't have to take the best challenges, and nobody cares. And the reason most fighters are like this is because they say, well, hey, you did it, and look how they treat you now. They don't care nothing about you guys now. So why would we go do that when we can just go make this money and we don't care about them either? You understand me? So that's where the disconnect has happened. The fans and the fighters are disconnected now. But from a professional standpoint, it's like you want to see them keep elevating the game, doing different things, like what the UFC did the other night. That was something different and new. They're being creative and innovative for the UFC. They're making different things happen to make people want to be involved. That Noche made me want to be involved because it was one of one that made you want to be involved. Then when the kid came in and came to the ring to my song, that really took me over the top. So it's like they giving you events that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life. Is boxing doing that anymore? No.
No. Did you know he was coming to the ring with your song or no?
No, I did not. I had no clue.
Oh,
just like I'm sure he didn't know I was going to even be there.
Yeah. So, you would think you'd go to Canelo fight, but
So
that's an indictment to Canelo.
Neither one of us didn't know.
Yeah, well, that's good. My last, I'm going to wrap it up with this. It's a little comment that I had. Back when you fought James Toney, I believe, and I'm not positive, but I believe you were an underdog. James Toney was on top of the world. Mm-hmm. I laid a bunch of money on you because I had a gut feeling you were going to win. Mm-hmm. And by golly, you made me a little bit of cash when I was broke. I was dead broke.
Flat out.
So,
but you saw God's work in me. You saw God's work going through me. So you knew that if God's work is here, he definitely got a chance. That's all he needs.
Well, I saw you coming up as an amateur. I knew you had all the talent in the world. You just didn't get the chance. After you beat Jorge Vaca, I knew you were real. Then you got James Toney, and I knew it right then. I said, you know what? Everyone's going for James Toney. I'm going to go to Roy Jones. Roy Jones got all the talent in the world. Yep. So not only do I want to thank you for this interview, thank you for the money. I got that cash, and I needed it that time.
That's awesome. God's good.
Roy Jones, as always, one of the greatest of all time to do it. Roy Jones, it was a pleasure and honor to have you on. Please, anytime you want to come on and promote something, tomorrow, September 19th, Legends Casino and Hotel. Roy Jones Jr., thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
There was the great Roy Jones Jr. So if you can, please, guys, like and subscribe to the Zapata Brand podcast, and we can bring more interviews just like that.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.